Hiya, hiya. This is Joey Reynolds after the hurricane. The storm's over now, and they're already talking about a new one brewing in the sea. See, what makes the storms work is the way we poison the air. Nobody wants to talk about global warming because we don't know what to do about it. That's why. How do we have global cooling? We can't even. The only place that I could tell you that's cool is when you have a lot of money. That's cool. And Buffalo is cold. Money's cool. I'd rather have cool. I was spending my day yesterday after being a little bit depressed because at our church they have planning ahead, a priceless gift you can give your family, planning your end of life arrangements. And they include a free lunch for that. Well, the celebration of life is too late for anybody in the coffin, but it's not too late for someone who's still alive. You know, the celebration of life should be done before we die. The celebration of life is misnamed. You're not celebrating life at all. I think we are in a major slump in America because we have black guys who won't vote for a black woman. So what did I do yesterday? I went around and I handed money out to every black man I ran into, and a note that said, vote for Kamala or return to slavery. Now, you know, this Donald Trump guy he doesn't believe in democracy. Is that right? He wants to be a dictator. Is that correct? Am I hearing this right? Well, his tired ass would be in jail if it weren't for democracy. He's got to believe in it. Well, he may believe in it when he finds out that he didn't win the election. Maybe he'll believe that 4 years ago he should have just said, you know, you're right. I'm going to run again, and it's just the way it is. But that would have been too easy. Too many of my friends are old and dying, and they're famous too. You know, Sid Bernstein, who brought the Beatles here. I would say Les Paul invented the electric guitar. Joan Rivers, Wayne Dyer, a guru of wonderful positive living. You know, a lot of I can't go on. There's a whole list of them, and they're gone. They're gone. Bob Crew, who created the Four Seasons. These are good friends. Every one of them are close. See, the problem is I hung around with older people. And that's how you look young, you know, when you hang around with older people. Now, this is my friend Jack Wayman, who founded the Consumer Electronics Show, which is the #1 trade show in the world. I lived with him for a while. I lived at Rayos until we had some problems with the building. So I went and stayed with Jack in Nyack, Jack of Nyack. And I think Jack died of the sauce at Rayos. Don't tell him I said that. They sold the company anyway. What do they care? It's like Paul Newman being mad about his popcorn not popping. We have a different kind of society than I grew up with, because when I grew up, first of all, I never grew up. But when I was younger and I didn't know too much, I was always thinking that I would be taken care of by people who liked me. Well, wrong. It was never that way, and it's never going to be that way. You got to find your own way. You know, first of all, nobody ever knows where we came from. You can't figure it out, except two people had sex, and you showed up, and I showed up. We all showed up. Everybody showed up. They don't know how they got here. Nobody asked to come here, except for those people who believe in reincarnation, and they plan to come back and do it right this time. But you don't know when you're coming. You don't know when you're going. So my father was right. You don't know whether you're coming or going. He was absolutely right. I just didn't believe him, that's all. And you don't know what you're supposed to do while you're here until you start doing it, and then you see, okay, this works, this doesn't work. This doesn't work, but I'm still doing it. This works, but I don't like it. Life, on life's terms. Isn't that interesting how we don't know where the hell we're going, or maybe hell. I mentioned before that Catholics have purgatory, which is where you get purged of your sins before you are allowed to go into heaven. and it's kind of like a halfway house. I don't know that God designed a halfway house. Maybe there's money in it. Someone says, "Hey, there's money in purgatory." And I saw someone name a club Purgatory, and I said, "This place is more like hell." But see, I don't know the difference between heaven and hell or purgatory. What's this thing we're doing now with the heart? Is this what we're doing? I thought it was a vagina. I thought it was a sexual thing on the internet. But it's a heart. It's a heart. See where my mind was. But this is a big thing now, a big symbol. Everybody's doing this. They're holding their heart up. Like all of a sudden, we become so sensitive. And it's good. It's good. It's good to be that way. Then why do we have 12 wars going on in the world? We don't need to be at all these wars. Why are we attending all these wars? We got to stay out of these things. The only way to stay out of a war is to not support it with money. Then they won't want us around anyway. We are involved in everybody else's problem. Why don't we mind our own business? I don't know. What is our own business? Our own business is economy. That's our business. But this is a country of everybody's country, and everybody's invited to the party. Everybody, anybody, at any time, but you have to file in an orderly fashion. When my relatives came here, they came on a boat, and Ellis Island. Some of these boats were turned around because they didn't want the undesirables here. We were called undesirables. Tony. Do you know what that comes from? The word Tony, besides Anthony. Tony comes from Ellis Island, where there was a note on the Italians that were coming from Italy. It said Tony, to New York. So, hey, Tony, come here, Tony. That's where it came from. I don't know where WAP came from. That's a whole other thing. Without papers. That's right. See? And FUCK is for unlawful carnal knowledge. See, all these things that we're saying, they had an innocent beginning, but boy, have we made them dirty words and insults. And I don't know that we have WNGR, nigger radio. I mean, if we ever have that, the FCC will probably all have to go home. But nobody wants to use any words where they come from or what they're for. They become negative. They become bad words. People are mad. They're angry at. People are trying to find some fault all day long. You know why? Because if you point a finger at someone else, you got three pointing back at yourself. And we love to blame someone. That's the whole thing, the blame game. If I could find that you've done something that's bad and you got away with it, then I'm probably going to do the same thing. Or maybe just cheer you on and say, wow, is he lucky? And I say that about a lot of people. One of the things I say about Trump, incidentally, just speaking to him, because he's a personality. Come on, the guy says everything to get attention. Let's not pick a party. I don't like either party. There's not my idea of a party. My idea of a party is not a celebration of life. It's not a free lunch for the planning of my end of life arrangements. Save the lunch. I don't want to go. My idea of a party is when the kids blow up balloons and they go to Chuck E. Cheese and they choke on the cheesecake, which I sell. No, I think we are way off on a lot of things, and nobody wants to talk about them, like I'm doing right now. They don't want to have this child's garden chat, or what we used to call a coming to Jesus meeting, which is somewhat religious. But we don't want to talk about anything anymore because we're afraid that we're going to have to change. And there is nothing that is more striking than a changed person. In the good direction, I hope. But we have a society that's separated by ignorance. We don't really allow anybody to be who they are because we find fault with everything they're saying or anything they're saying or whatever they are referring to, which was unpleasant. Or if it was really good, then don't brag about it. We don't know where to go. We're like in They're like Jackie Mason. I've got a device. I don't know where to go. You're going to go to the left. You go to the right. What am I doing here? Oh, I give up. You know, the trouble is I haven't given up. That's the truth is I have not given up. I have faith. I have faith that we're going to get through this election, which incidentally, you're not voting for two people. You're not voting for Kamala Harris or Trump. You're voting for a system. One system is the certain system that Trump wants to put in here, and the other one is the one that we already have that needs to be, I would say, shined on a little bit. But we have a choice, and when we get that equal time law back, where a person can run for office no matter how much money they have, but if someone's on the air and they're advertising their stuff, you need to be allowed that equal time. And they got rid of that, see? So we don't have anybody that's really exciting. We don't have those great moments that we had someone who was going to just lead the country. But don't look for Moses. He was a stutterer, you know. Also, he had a tent because he got so tired of the complaints of the Jews, he moved it far out of the where everybody was eating their matzah. Or in those days, they didn't call it matzah. What was it called? What did they eat? The Jews ate what? Everything they get their hands on? No, I didn't say that. Did I say that? Yeah, whatever it was just very, very cool. And I am cool right now. That's because the temperature went down 10 degrees after the hurricane. No, because I have some money. I have enough money to pay the rent and enough money to go to this luncheon on the end of life celebration. Maybe I'll just die there and have them pay for the funeral. Boy, that'd piss them off. So it's a Reynolds wrap